Welcome in. It's the podcast here, the Nasty Podzcast. Big Nasty with you here, bringing you some sports talks, KSFA860.com. The way you like it. Thanks for being here with us. NBA all over the place tonight. We'll talk a little baseball as always. And you know what's coming up on Thursday? High school playoffs back at it. They're trying to get a little bit closer to the state tournament in Round Rock. We're always brought to you by Whataburger. Appreciate you being here with us as always on a jammed in podcast here. I like to call it the Podzcast as we do it. NBA last night was absolutely spectacular. If you look at it, once again, we're brought to you by Whataburger. The first game, of course, Tuesday night, Indiana with a chance to close out Washington in 5 games at home is a complete no-show. They get out-rebounded 62-23. I'm talking about a 7-footer and a 6'10" David West in there, and they get out-rebounded 62-23 at home. That is unbelievable. It tells me, again, I don't go back to David Vogel. This isn't coaching. This is effort. And sometimes it appears that Indiana just takes the night off. Like, you know what? We got a couple of guys we know that are betting on us tonight. We're gonna lay down. I mean, I'm not saying the fix is in, but man, they just come out and lay completely down and put up no hustle, no fight. So they will force the Game 6, which will be played on Thursday night. It'll be back in Washington. Washington will try to force the Game 7 and final game in Indiana, which would be on Saturday night. Now, as of course, Martin Cortat, which, by the way, Mark Cuban's going to covet in the postseason or in the postseason, trying to free agency anyway. Had 31 points and only 15 shots. He was 13 of 15, dominating Roy Hibbert. 2 of 7, 4 points, two rebounds. 7-footer and got 2 rebounds. And I got 2 more rebounds than I did from the couch last night. Unreal. John Wall threw in 27 as well. Once again, the Wizards force a Game 6, which will be Thursday night. The late game last night produced all of the drama. The Thunder come away with a 105-104 win. But, boy, if you watch this game like I did, you were just in awe. And I listened to Charles Barkley after the game, and he said, and I quote, "I'm going to need a Hennessy after watching this. Coors Light ain't going to cut it." Well, now, first of all, Charles, Coors Light, when a man goes out to have his very first drink of his adult lifehood, he drinks Coors Light because it's almost watered. It's a watered-down version with a little bit of barley's in it. Now, if you would step up and take some Bud Light, like how we roll, how the big boys take it, do the Bud Light, then you might be able to stay off that Hennessy. But I understand what you were saying. He needed a stiff drink. Beer wasn't going to cut it after watching that collapse by the Clippers. The Clippers were up. Now get this, guys, 13 points with 3 minutes to go. And fast forward to where they're up 7 points with 43 seconds remaining. 7 points. And what do? They blow it. Yeah, there was a questionable call at the end, and Doc Rivers said this was a series-changing call that they made, and yes, it may have been the wrong call, but reality is you were 1 for 6 in the final 4 minutes with 4 turnovers, and the stupid foul on Bryant Westbrook by Chris Paul. You know, I wonder, we all have bad days. You know what I mean? Where you may be the best at your profession, but you're not the best at your profession every day. And you have to adjust. You got to get through on the bad days. You got to make sure the bad days aren't get fired days. Chris Paul in the last 3 minutes last night had a get fired day. Turned it over twice in the final minute. The foul on the three-pointer by Bryant Westbrook. The Thunder are up by 2 with 9 seconds left. And Westbrook is shooting a 3-ball that is so far away he was almost a Tulsa, and he's fading away from the hole. Play defense, get a hand in his face, and see if he makes it. Okay, he made it. Pat him on the butt, tell him hell of a shot. But the odds of that shot going down, not very good. And the worst thing he could have done, he fouled it, hit him on the elbow. And he goes to the line. Of course, Durant can't look, and the media's making a big joke about that. Oh, he didn't even want to look at him shoot the free throws. No, he just was. Sometimes I'm in T-ball. I'm in the outfield. Big plays coming up. There's nothing you can do. I like to close my eyes and listen for the crowd. I know I'm not making a silly comparison here, but I'm telling you, if you've been to a T-ball game, you know when the crowd goes nuts which side it is. I know my parents And I know they love our Rangers. When they do something something good, they will be cheering louder than any other team out there. So I close my eyes and listen. That's kind of what he was doing. But forget all that. Chris Paul making that foul right there was absolutely just horrible. And then you get the ball back, 9 seconds to go or 7 seconds to go, and he dribbles it, turns it over, ball game, doesn't foul after he turns it over, just lets the clock run out, and they give. And I'm talking about gift wrap on Christmas morning, Game 5 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Again, Westbrook played well. He had 38 points, and he was balling last night. I'm not debating that. Kevin Durant had 27 points. 10 of those 27 came in the final 3 minutes of the game. And, yes, Chris Paul had 17 points and 14 assists. He also had 6 turnovers. Again, 2 of them in the final minutes. But the final call where the Chris Paul turned it over, and Reggie Jackson comes down with it. And, by the way, he's got Durant on one side, Westbrook on the other. Why in the bejesus he's not giving the ball up to one of those two guys at the end of this game, I don't know. But he decides he wants to be the glory hog and take it in. Well, he dribbles it off himself out of bounds. Now, he was fouled. They didn't call the foul, and to make matters worse, they called it off of the Clippers. They gave the ball back to Oklahoma City. Then Oklahoma City fouls on the three-pointer by Westbrook, and they're back in the game. But, yeah, it was a bad call. But I know Doc Rivers thinks that one call is going to make a game, and maybe it does, but you really made some of the biggest boneheaded plays in this series to date, and you want to blame it on an official. And, boy, Doc Rivers after that game went absolutely bat crazy on the officials. Game 6 will be Thursday night, and that'll be back out in L.A. It'll be on TNT Thursday night at 9:30 our time. Tonight, two teams can get a win, and they can sit back and get some rest. Tonight at 6 o'clock on TNT, New Jersey goes into Miami. Miami's a 7-point favorite in this one. They are up 3-1. If they win this game, they can sit back and see what kind of dumpster fire they'll get to play in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the same situation arises at 8:30 tonight on TNT down in San Antonio. Spurs playing host to Portland tonight. Spurs are an 8-point favorite. If they win that one too will be done. And the Spurs can sit back and hope that the Clippers can win tomorrow night. They wouldn't play until 6 days if they were able to win tonight and the Clippers win Game 6. So that's a big deal, especially the older teams. The older teams such as the Heat, the Spurs. All these other teams are not nearly long in the tooth as they are. 2 big games. You think the last thing Portland wants to do or the Spurs want to do is lose Game 5 at home and then have to fly back to Portland all the way up there to play a Game 6, which will be played on Friday night. So it's a very important game. Both teams tonight, Miami and the Spurs, the all your favorites to get to the finals. They have a chance to wrap up their series in 5 games tonight, both of them at home, and I got a feeling both of them are going to do it. Now, tomorrow on Thursday, around the area, all the baseball, softball will start heating back up with the softball teams are 1 win away or 2 wins away from making it to the state tournament. The baseball side of things, they are 3 wins away from making it to the state tournament. And coming up on Thursday morning on the Gary Ivins Show right here on KSFA 860 at 6 o'clock, we'll visit with head coach of the Douglas Indians, Eugene Lafitte. The number 1 Douglas Indians, they have been the unanimous number 1 all year long. They're 25-1. They will play the 8th-rated Tigers of West Sabine. That'll be Thursday night at 6 o'clock right here at Morris Frank Park in Lufkin. Game 2 will be Friday night, 6 o'clock right here in Lufkin. And if they need a third and final decisive game, it'll be at 2 o'clock at Morris Frank as well. And again, the winner of Douglas will move on to play Sims Bowie and Harleton. They'll play Thursday night up in Hughes Springs, Friday night in Marshall. And then the other 4 teams in the top half of this Region 3 bracket has got number 2 Evadale taking on Grapeland. They'll play Game 1 Thursday night at 6 o'clock down in Jasper. Games 2 and 3 will be in Central on Saturday at 3. And then number 3 Carlisle taking on Maud. They'll play against up in Harmony Thursday night and Friday night. Both games 1-2 starting at 6 o'clock. So in this tough Region 3 of Class 1A, you have got number 1 Douglas, number 2 Evadale, number 3 Carlisle, and number 8 West Sabine. And you want to watch some great 1A baseball, you've got it right here starting Thursday night in Lufkin. Number 1 Douglas, number 8 West Sabine. And we'll visit with the Douglas Indian head coach, Eugene Lafitte, on the Big Nasty Show a little after 6 o'clock in the morning right here on KSFA.com, KSFA860.com. I hope you can tune us in for that. Some of the other teams around the area, you're looking at 2A Central Heights. We'll visit with Coach Ellis tomorrow as Thursday as well. Coach Robert Ellis of the Central Heights Blue Devils. They play Kirbyville, and that'll be Thursday night with Game 1 at 7 o'clock up at SFA. The 3A ranks, Carthage has Caldwell. They'll start their series in Corsicana on Thursday at 7:30 and come back for Game 2 Saturday at 2 o'clock. So a lot of baseball on tap. Also on the softball side, you got Garrison and Growthton. They're playing as well in Palestine, a 3-game set starting Thursday night also. So I'm going to tell you some great stuff going on. Softball moving around as well. Hudson, they're playing Huffman Hartgrave down at Sam Houston starting Thursday night. So the Hudson Hornets, the defending state champions, still rolling with a chance to bring home that state championship and go back-to-back with those Jacks. So all that good stuff going on as well. Don't forget, you got here on Wednesday, you got the Rangers down at the Juice Box tonight, taking on the Astros. The Astros thumped them right on top of the melon last night. We'll see if they can get by and make them like it tonight. That'll be down at the Juice Box here Wednesday night, starting at 7:05 local time. And I thought when we close it up here, as we get ready to wrap up the podcast, sometimes I like to go with the pontoon. We've had a lot of rain in the area. Sometimes we need a pontoon to get around from coast to coast. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it reminds me of going out to the lake with a little Bud Light and a little Whataburger double meat, double cheese. Long arm, I know you hear me. Hey, thanks for tuning in. It's been the Big Nasty Podzcast right here on KSFA 860. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, early, bright and early, 5 to 7, over on KSFA 860. KSFA860.com. I'll have the head coach of the number 1 Douglas Indians, Eugene Lafitte, a little after 6 o'clock, and we'll go to Central Heights as well. That's all coming up for you on Thursday. Thanks for being here. That has been the Nasty Podzcast right here on KSFA860.com.